Can you believe it, Johnny? This will be your last Preds fan reaction as a 39-year-old. Where does the time go? 4 decades on this earth as of Sunday, and over half of my life investing my heart in this team. Seeing 6 years to make its first playoff appearance, 12 seasons to win its first playoff series, and then there's 2017. Thanks for dredging up those memories for me. Come to think of it, isn't your birthday coming up too? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure your birthday's coming up. The date just happens to slip my mind. Preds tie the Edmonton Oilers 2-2. Then they lose 1-0 in the gimmick, losing the game 3-2. Thursday night in Edmonton, Alberta. After winning 3 in a row, the Preds do lose again, but fortunately they have now not lost in their last 4 games in regulation. On the back of a 44 save performance by one UC Saros, with Philip Forsberg and Matt Duchene continuing on their hot streak of one hell of a season each of them are having, the Preds just can't manage to get the second point. After seemingly being unbeaten against certain Canadian teams in Canada, the Preds have now not defeated the Oilers since February 25th, 2019, and have not won in Edmonton since October 20th, 2018. The Preds' first game versus the Edmonton Oilers since losing to them pretty badly back in November 3rd, back in Edmonton at Rogers Place by a score of 5-2. Preds are able to draw the first penalty, but unfortunately, one of the league's best power plays on the road is not able to do anything with it as the Oilers kill it off, and the Oilers even do the Preds one better, and the Preds aren't able to generate a shot. A sign of things to come, perhaps. But fortunately, about 5 minutes into the first period, play in the Oilers zone, Alexander Carey, deep behind the Oilers net, behind the red line, finds his teammate Philip Forsberg just above the face-off circle to Koskinen's left, gets Carey's pass, and he winds up, takes a shot on that. It beats Koskinen. Forsberg continuing his hot streak. The Preds are up in this game 1-0. That's Philip Forsberg's 200th goal of his NHL career. He is now just 10 back of tying David Legwand and 11 behind number 11 of taking the sole possession of the Preds' all-time franchise goal scorer. With every goal that Philip Forsberg racks up, I wonder if George McPhee still looks at his phone every now and then and goes, speaking of David Legwand, I wonder what he's thinking about right now. You know, it's been about 8 years since I set the Preds' all-time franchise goal record. Maybe I should check and see if anybody's getting close to me. Can't connect to Wi-Fi. Okay, let me try again. Loading. Loading. After another failed Preds power play opportunity, Cody Ceci and Connor McDavid have a 2-on-1 going down into the Preds zone on UC Saros. Matt Benning playing defense, and he plays it perfectly to defend the pass and prevent a grade A scoring chance. We reach about 8 minutes left to go in the first period. Oilers circling, cycling well in the Preds zone, but UC Saros stands his ground and prevents scoring chance after scoring chance. Preds are then forced to kill off a cross-checking penalty by Matthias Ekholm on Kailer Yamamoto, and even though the Oilers' offense seems potent, especially with Draisaitl and McDavid, the Preds kill off that chance. With about 4.5 minutes left to go in the first, Matt Tennyson, who has been playing pretty good as of late when called upon, with the rare turnover to Devin Shore, and he decides to skate into UC Saros' crease to try and get a scoring chance, but Tennyson and Roman Josi recover to keep the puck out. Last 40 seconds of the first period before the intermission, and you have to watch this man like a hawk, because every chance he has with the puck, he's going to create a great scoring chance if you let him. And this time, McDavid collects the puck in the Oilers' defensive zone. He skates past Forsberg into the Preds zone. He goes. He beats by Benning and gets the puck in the net past Saros. The Oilers have tied this game 1-1 just in the nick of time, and it's tied after the first period. Third power play of the game for the Preds already in the second period as Evan Bouchard of the Oilers would go off, and still the Preds can't generate a shot on goal with the Oilers shorthanded. Just over 6 minutes into the frame, Mikael Granlund has a great chance behind the net to set up Matt Duchene in front, and Koskinen is down and out on his back. Duchene has all day, but he can't beat him. Ryan Johansson would take a slashing penalty against Warren Foegele a little bit after that, and the Preds are fortunate not to give the Oilers the lead. Preds can't score on the man advantage, but even strength, they go back to work just over 8 minutes into the second period. Matt Benning lifts the puck out of his defensive zone, out to, you've got Duncan Keith who can't knock it down, and it goes over him to Matt Duchene, who skates into the Oilers zone on a 2-on-1. He's got Mikael Granlund with him, but Duchene decides to keep it himself, snaps it past Koskinen. Preds back in front, 2-1. Preds are playing well, at least good enough to hang on to their lead until just over 5 minutes left in the second period. Defensive zone face-off in front of Saros to his left, won by Joe Bouchard, who takes a shot on net through a couple of screens, and the puck takes some of the luckiest deflections you will ever see, at least two. It's in the net past Saros. He had no chance on it. If you want to blame the McDavid goal on him, fine. You can't blame this one on him when he can't see where it's coming from. Oilers have tied the game back up 2-2. Just under 3 minutes left to go in the second period. You got Yakov Trenin at one side with a great chance to get the Preds back to lead, and then the Oilers the other way as Yossi goes falling into his goalie. But fortunately for every Preds fans' collective breath and their heart, neither is worse for the wear. Just like the end of the first, in a period, the Preds get the lead first, and the Oilers were tied going into the third period. Early in the third, Koskinen gets away with playing the puck outside the trapezoid behind his net. The refs don't see it, and really, with the way the Preds power play was playing in this game, were you very confident that they were going to convert? And besides, I can't remember what game it was, but it was not so long ago when Saros got away with that, so these things find a way of evening themselves out. About 5 minutes into the third, you've got Yamamoto and then McDavid with back-to-back chances to try and give the Oilers their first lead, but Saros has his head and he's dialed into this game. Oilers finding their legs, generating a lot of chances on Saros, but he is determined to try and get his team the second point if they can just get him another goal. Off a face-off win about the 10-minute mark, the Oilers are in the Preds defensive zone, and Matt Benning breaks his stick. But Matt Benning uses the defensive prowess he still has left in him, and the Preds escape that series of chances without being scored upon. We reach the last 5 minutes of the third period. The Oilers with the edge in possession, but that doesn't account for number 74, who keeps this game tied. You've then got Philip Forsberg with a great stretch pass to Matt Duchene, who I don't think was ready for it, or else that would have been a great chance for the Preds to win this game once and for all in regulation. You've got Hyman with a great partial break chance with Carey on him like a hawk to break it up as the net comes off behind Saros, and the Oilers have one last chance in regulation to make sure the Preds don't get a point with about 11.5 seconds left. But the Preds defend well, and this game is going to overtime. Oilers with the edge in possession in overtime as well. And their best chance was probably Darnell Nurse ringing one off the goalpost behind Saros. Preds are boxing out well with their defensive scheme, not allowing the Oilers any really grade A scoring chances to end this one. The Preds' best offensive chance in that overtime was Yossi with a 2-on-1 with Sissons that the Oilers play just perfectly to break it up. Oilers the other way with one more chance before really even better than that 2-on-1 was Ryan Johansson right in front as he's robbed by Koskinen. There was a late, really late, too many men on the ice penalty assessed to the Preds in that overtime, but the Preds ultimately survived the fourth period, thanks in large part to Matthias Ekholm's defensive game on number 97 of the Oilers. And now we're off to the shootout. First round, you've got Leon Draisaitl, but Saros has him the whole way. And then first up for the Preds, you've got Philip Forsberg, who tries to go backhand on Koskinen, but he has him the entire way as well. Well, to beat the Oilers in the shootout, you've got to stop both Leon Draisaitl and number 97 to even have a chance, it would appear. And sure enough, when you don't stop Draisaitl, more often than not, number 97, and he's up first in the second round for the Oilers. He comes in, does a little shimmy shake that Saros has no chance on. Not a lot of goalies are going to stop that one either. The Oilers have a 1-0 lead in a shootout. Duchesne is up second for the Preds, and he has Koskinen beat. But backhand, he cannot get the puck by him. Koskinen got his right pat on him just like that, and it's 1-0 after 2 rounds. In the third round, first up is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who has a good chance, but Saros stares him down and stops him, begging his team to try and tie this game up in a shootout. Now, personally, at this point, I was thinking, okay, where's Slow Joe? Ryan Johansson, yeah, his move is a little annoying if you're playing against him, but more times than not, in key situations for the Preds, it works. So maybe they were going to use him in the fourth round. I don't know. But the last chance for the Preds is Roman Josi, who skates on in. Decent chance on Koskinen that he puts aside. The Oilers win the shootout 1-0, win the game 3-2. You know, being a fan from this team since day one, I remember quite well that in the last 10 years or so, playing in Canada was usually a sure win for the Preds. But this Oilers team and Rogers Place as of late has been a house of horrors for this team. Fun to watch, but hard to play against. Preds should feel very fortunate that they didn't allow Draisaitl to score in regulation, since they did allow that one McDavid goal, or else this game wouldn't have even gone to extra time. Yes, you could consider this fortunate that the Preds only have one more game against this Oilers team. It's in March, but fortunately back at Bridgestone. January is now done for the Preds. The Preds have played 45 games of their regular 82-game schedule. They have a very light February with only 8 games before their last 29 games will be played over a span of 59 days. Basically a game every other night. It's go time. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media by clicking on the channel name. Tell all your friends about Predemption. And that Connor McDavid, one hell of a hockey player.